the social group in our film was youth.
We represent both good and bad youth. Harper's the representation of bad youth. She dresses dark, she carries a baseball bat.
She's violent.
And she turns to violent.
They're all like negative stereotypes of youth.
Yeah, while Tyler and Riley...
They're fun, caring, happy. They're more...
outgoing.
Yeah, they're just what people consider to be the positive youths. So they're the youths that people want to know, not Harper.
Yeah.
Existing thriller films that have the same social group as ours could include The Hunger Games, Carrie, and The Hole.
The reason Carrie's a lot like ours is the main character in both ours and Carrie are 17 years old.
Yeah.
They both are very shy, and a lot of people don't seem to interact with them or want to even know them, and are very unknown to the outside world.
They're both a bit odd, aren't they?
Yeah.
Very outcast.
They have issues, and they turn psychopath because of being left out of any type of social group. Or
they murder people to fuel their anger.
No, they turn to violence.
Yeah.
Through their anger.
Yeah. Within the film Carrie, she's also, like Harper, obsessed with the male lead. The male lead in Carrie is called Tommy, and he's also 17, fairly good looking. And these sort of things fit together. They're both very innocent. They haven't done anything wrong, but because the main lady fancies them, they end up dead.
In our film, we use a lot of clothing to represent
the 21st modern ages.
Yeah, and to get across the kind of era we're in.
The ages that they are, the leggings, the trainers, the skinny.
Yeah, also Harper wears a lot of black.
Yeah.
Which is very negative. Also representing
her social group.
Yeah, which is bad youth. She wears a hoodie.
The big hood.
That's a big representation.
Yeah.
Tyler and Riley wear like whites and blues, which are more happy, chilled out colours.
More positive colours overall.
Yeah.
They have more positive symbolisations.
There's no dark feel about them.
They're a lot more open, a lot more colourful and happy.
The main prop we use is probably the baseball bat, which is Harper's main prop. The baseball bat it doesn't really have many representations. Really only about two, which is sports or just for a general reason, which would probably be the psychopath reason. You wouldn't really just carry a baseball bat for no reason.
Yeah.
So it shows like the sporty side of Harper, if anything.
Yeah.
Which also puts aside our social group of youth.
Yeah. You don't see many 60-year-olds with a baseball bat.
Exactly. So I think that really sets an example of the social group, and the character's kind of personality a little bit. Yeah.
Tyler and Riley's props are a bit more non-obvious. They have the props such as the tent representing the positive, adventurous youths, like the adventurous,
they like
spontaneous,
to go out,
outside, outdoors type.
Not stuck inside, a bit like Harper. She's stuck inside on a laptop stalking people.
Yeah, Tyler and Riley's tent just makes them that bit more approachable. Where, you know, they've obviously planned this escape from wherever. Makes them a bit more happy.
Yeah.
The things in their picnic as well.
Yeah, they have like crisps and
pop.
Yeah, it's not like...
It's not... A negative view of the youth would be that they go out a lot to get drunk. Obviously Tyler and Riley aren't, because they've got lemonade and crisps.
It's very different to what you'd probably see if someone was going out camping
to
get
positive.
Drunk.
It's what all parents wish their children were like. It's positive.
Yeah.
editing is used to represent our social group quite a bit.
Whenever you're on Harper, the editing's a lot faster pace.
It's a lot more unpredictable.
Yeah,
It's very negative.
it's constantly fast. Like when she's going to find Riley and Tyler, she one minute you're seeing like her feet, and you're seeing like her head down, and then obviously we see her come out towards
behind her.
Yeah, you never felt it's never like a constant shot. Whereas on Tyler and Riley,
It's a lot slower, more chilled.
yeah, you see you're on them a lot longer period of time. Like you see the camping scene a lot longer with them, and it's not constantly switching between cameras and shots. In our film, the lighting changes dramatically, as when Harper's in a bedroom, it's very dull. You can tell there's one little lamp on.
Yeah.
There's not much light, and that's also to help hide her face. But then also that represents
her dark side.
Yeah, and the bad youth. She doesn't want to be known now.
Yeah.
She doesn't want people to know that she's planning on going to hurt people.
Well, no, you wouldn't.
Exactly. And then when we go to Tyler and Riley, they're outside and it's light and it's sunny and it's all
a lot more comfortable to watch.
It's a bit more predictable, I'd say, than Harper, because you're not too sure what she's up to.
Whereas Tyler and Riley, it's very obvious. Like, I'm setting up a tent, I'm eating a picnic, I'm blowing off an airbed. Harper is like, okay, what's she doing on her laptop? How's that going to tie in?
I think the dark lighting also gives off a bad atmosphere to the audience. Like,
it makes the audience feel more uncomfortable because they can't see a lot of what's on their screen.
Yeah, and it's going to make them wonder what she's about.
And obviously the youth representation negatively is that they're quite closed off, so the dark lighting represents that perfectly. Is used within our film to represent our social groups quite a lot. Well, to represent the negative social group, Tyler and Riley in the beginning 2 minutes don't actually have any speech.
No.
So all of the dialogue's very negative. It's really slow pace to make the audience feel uncomfortable, on edge. All of these things are negative, really.
Yeah, and as we get further through the 2 minutes,
she gets angry. She gets aggressive in the way she talks.
Yeah, it's the voice becomes more prominent.
Yeah, prominent. She's very vindictive and bitchy in the way she talks. She's her imbecile. It's not the way a normal 17-year-old speaks. There's no slang. It's all proper English.
And then at the end of the 2 minutes, the title Delusive comes up and she's still talking.
Yeah.
And because our title is so simple, all you can focus on is her voice and what she's saying.
Yeah.
And you finally click that she is psychopath.
She's gonna hurt these people.
She needs help. And
yeah. It becomes clear in her dialogue that her plans, what she's gonna do, not necessarily how she's gonna do it, but what she's gonna do comes clear.
Yeah.
So it represents her in a really negative light. And because she's young, she's a youth, so it represents the youth in a negative light. The soundtracks are very representative of the character.
Whenever it's on Harper,
yeah,
the sound's more
dark,
mysterious,
dull.
Everything she kind of is about.
Yeah, it's very unpredicted. It creates such a lot of tension, and it's so uncomfortable to listen to. That high squeak the whole way through.
I think that puts you off. You kind of want it to stop.
Before you see Harper, you know that she's bad because of the soundtrack.
Yeah, and then it all of a sudden cuts and fades into this happy kind of
It shows
because of Riley and Tyler. Because they're outside, they're happy, they're more chilled out.
Yeah.
And then when it cuts to Harper again, the music
fades back into this uncomfortable, deep, really horrible music that
Yeah.
just it makes you want it to stop. Like, you want that music to stop. You want Harper to go away because she's this negative thing and you don't want anything to do with her.
And then at the end, again, the music stops as she talks.
Yeah.
Again, that lets you focus on her voice.
Mm.
And it kind of gives that feeling like she's already done the damage.
Yeah.
And
You know, although you haven't seen it, you know what she's going to do and how she's going to do it. Because she's such a negative influence, and that it really comes across in her music. It's all uncomfortable, but that's done through the mise en scène, the ripped up teddies and coloured in photos.
And that's from the very beginning.
Yeah.
And I think that sets the scene
Yeah.
and her personality. But it's very mysterious at the beginning because you just see these teddies.
These photos.
So you're not going to expect like a 17-year-old girl to be owning these messed up teddies.
Yeah.
The photos are scribbled out faces. Well,
I think the mise en scène is also used to slowly make you click that this is a 17-year-old girl. So the photos are...
they're all in groups of people and they're quite young.
Yeah, they're all around the age group. So they're all obviously people she knows of, but they don't know of her. As you first see this, it's a massive representation of what Harper's going to be in her negative way.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to get a nice person scribbling out photos. Our representations within Delusive were quite successful in representing our social group.
I think throughout the whole film, like, there's not one shot where there is no representation.
Yeah.
I mean, whenever there's a shot of Harper, she's obviously in black.
Yeah, she represents this
Dark death.
Yeah, and this negative youth. She's a youth herself, so she represents youth, like, people. But she's so negative, and that's shown in her music, her costume, her dialogue,
Her lighting.
her lighting, her mise en scène in her room. I mean, like, the pictures and the teddies.
Everything around her represents her personality.
Yeah.
And it kind of shows her psychopath ways.
Which is really successful in the opening 2 minutes.
Tyler and Riley, I think it's a bit harder because they're obviously not the main part in
Yeah,
the
the
2
representation
minutes,
wasn't easy for them.
But I think by using the red tent, it gives off many emotions.
And having the outdoorsy mise en scène, everything you can see in that shot is quite happy. It's sunny, it's blue skies, it's happy. The lemonade makes them more positive to, like, an older age group.
Yeah.
But to our age group, Tyler and Riley are really relatable.
Like, they are the teenagers older people would look at and be like, oh, they're just enjoying their life.
And the way that they're represented is really successful.
They come across more like polite and open, whereas Harper's more, she's just dark, so she seems closed off from the outside world, because you can see she's kind of shut herself off from the outside world. I mean, she's sitting in her bedroom stalking people, so yeah.